Hey,
Like, girl, your hair looks super cute. Love it.
thank you. So wild.
No, I love it, dude. How you feel? How you feeling?
Good.
Or
Healing.
is it better?
Yeah,
Good.
a lot better.
Oh,
The
I
first,
was worried about you.
yeah, I'm doing good. It's a weight off my shoulders, literally. So,
I'm
so
sure. Oh, honey, well, I'm good. Did you have your follow-up appointments and everything?
yeah, I had one Friday and then I have one in like 6 weeks.
Yeah, they say everything was good.
Yeah, everything's
Good.
good. It's just like your body changing. Like the skin is kind of like it's like funny. It's like not itchy, but it's a
Yeah,
weird feeling. I'm like, Mom, I cannot explain this feeling,
sure. Oh,
but I'm happy it's done. Like
yeah, for sure. Did they take the drains out and everything?
Yeah, they did. Oh, I was over those.
I just had a patient that had them, and she was just like, "Oh my God, they needed to come out." I was like, "Oh man."
It's really the drains that really like got on my nerves. I was like, because you can't do anything. Like you got
Right.
something like there.
Yeah. Like it's done.
Yeah, I'm so happy. But I ended up going back to work, which isn't bad because I work like office setting. But I wish I had like an extra week.
Yeah, you shouldn't overdo it though. Like that stuff, like, your still body is still compromised and
Well, my
everything.
doctor was saying that it was okay because it was I was just gonna be in the office.
Right.
But I'm just like, like some days I'm just like, I shouldn't have done this.
No, I mean, just feel like sitting down sometimes hurts. That like takes,
Yeah.
that's hard to do on your body sometimes.
My manager's really good though. So she's like, take your time, and if you wanna leave early, it doesn't matter. So
Well, that's good.
I've been taking yesterday I stayed late, but yeah. Tomorrow I may leave early.
You should.
Yeah.
But you know what though? This class is almost done though.
Yes. Well, this class wasn't so bad. It's just
No, I wasn't as bad as I was like, oh man, like this is gonna be a lot, but
yeah, it's not as bad at all. And he's decent. Like his grades great for me. So
yeah, I was gonna say, right? I love how it grades.
I was like, I love it. So I'm like, I'll take it.
How many more classes do you have?
A lot more. I just started.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did? Cool.
What about
I got one more. I'm out, dude.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm tired though. I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm looking forward to it. I'm like, all right, because next I am taking the information system technology class, the ISDS one. That's the last one I have.
Isn't
So
that the one that they said it was kind of, yeah.
I'm hearing, so it's like, all right, but I'm like, well, I guess the only thing that's gonna keep me going is like, it's my last one.
Yeah. Did you take QMB? What was it like qualitative business or something?
Yeah.
What was that?
It was all right. Honestly, I don't know. I think like the worst class, I don't know. Have you taken Dr. Is it Menon, Sanjay Menon yet? Yeah. I had 2 classes with him. I need things organized, like, and I don't like rambling on, and like some of these classes, like there was like, 3 20 30 page papers. You're like, what is going on, dude? Like,
I'm not forward to. They said that market strategies, there was like 2 20-page papers.
that was a rough class. I'm not going to lie. I didn't like it.
That's what they said.
I mean, it was all right, I guess. The one class on business communication or something like that, like that one, like the graders were crazy. Like they were like, no, not good enough. You're like, what are you talking about, dude? Like it's okay, so. But I think I don't know, looking back on it, it's doable, but it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just doing one at a time though. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know I don't have kids or anything, but I work and
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
I'm moving to Texas next year. So I'm like, nah.
Now I took one. There was one section I did 2, and I took econ, and there was like another one. I forget. It was one of the Dr. Menon classes. Man, I was
Up all night. They said accounting was like the only thing they would double, but they're not sure what they would double it with. That's what some people were saying.
Yeah, I think the only thing is when I took econ, it was like there were two different types of courses. Like that was so like math oriented, and then the other one was more paper. So I think it kind of equaled itself out, but I didn't sleep. I was working, and like the kids were like, I'm like, oh God, like I need a nap, girl. I need a nap.
I can't imagine.
Like I need a nap. My husband's like, someone asked me, they're like, so are you going to get your PhD? I'm like, no, this is it. I'm done.
They asked me, I'm 2 classes in, and they're like, are you going to get, I'm like, no, this is it.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
I have no desire. I'm like, this is the, because it's like after I got my bachelor's degree, I got my became a dental hygienist. So it was like, that was more school. And then I did my advanced hygiene degree. And then then I did this, and I'm like, no, we're good. I'm out. So
I mean, if I can't get something decent with my master's, then it wasn't freaking meant to be.
No, for sure. Well, girl, if you ever need anything, like email me, for those other classes.
I will.
For sure, dude. Yeah, no worries.
So I didn't read a lot. I just read like literally half of the first chapter. So, hey, Andrew.
What's happening?
Yay! We're just saying how excited we are.
It's 10:30 over here. I'm exhausted.
Oh no, dude! Like, you know what though? Let's get this done, and then we'll be like good for the weekend. We have one more.
Oh,
nope.
Good.
Hey, Andrew, how many more classes do you have left?
5.
5.
Yep.
We have classes left, so.
Do you have what?
Like a whole bunch. I just started, so.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna gloat. I have one more, and that is it. I'm out.
I'm happy for you.
I'm so out, dude. Christmas time because I was like, I finished on like Christmas. I'm gonna be sitting in my house. I'm gonna like send the kids away, and I'm just gonna eat a pizza in my house by myself. That's what I want to do. That is it. Nothing. I don't want to go on vacation. I want to sit in my house and do not a damn thing.
Yeah. I had to take a few sessions off for work. I was just traveling so much I couldn't.
Yeah, that's rough.
I couldn't take classes, so.
No, that's rough, dude. Well, I just want to see where you guys are at. So, guys, Andrew, I saw that you just sent an email. I didn't see anything attached though. Maybe I didn't.
I may not have attached it.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. But guys, I was thinking so one of my questions was interesting. It was like it said like, what is a core competency, and then what are the core competencies of your companies? So like the way the book defines a core competency is like a skill set that is hard to replicate, but that you can transfer it to like another business. And like the example they gave was like Honda, how they said that they're really good at making motors. So they were able to go from like, small electronics to like cars and stuff like that. And so they said, well, what is the core competence for which you work? And so I was just kind of like brainstorming, given kind of what information you gave from like your previous answers and whatnot. I did like my office, and I said like a dental office just in general, right? A core competency would be outstanding customer service and chairside manner. They give the office a competitive edge because some offices they really look for, it's more like technical skill, but then also how the patients feel. And then, Andrew, the question I had for you is like the engineering firm, like it sounded like you guys have a lot of innovation, right? And so like, what would you think would set yourself apart and then make it hard for it to, hard for another company to replicate you guys?
I guess our core competency is individually, it's probably a commitment to clients and innovation. Like, the stuff we do is very rare. We're a niche of civil engineering. So you can't really say that, I guess the niche is the core competency. Other people you can train other people for that, but it's not something you learn in college. Right. And I guess a lot of our technology, a lot of our equipment we have is not super plentiful. And then the other part is the interpretation of what the equipment does. So like you could go out and buy one of these pieces of equipment for $15,000 and go use it, and you would have no idea what you were looking at. I mean, it would be just like if I went and got an x-ray machine and started x-raying patients, I would have no clue what they would see.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
So that would be part of the core competency. And then I don't know if it's a core competency, but one of the strengths of our business that separates us is just our sheer size. We can do jobs no one else can do. So
in what way? Like that you just have like the manpower to do it, or you have like the software to do it?
We have the equipment, we have the manpower, and we have the technology. So like there's a bunch of little companies out there that compete with us at one level or another, and they may be like 5 people or 3 people or 10 people or whatever. But we did $650,000 worth of work in 4 weeks.
Wow.
So we brought crews in from a dozen states and knocked out a job that would take a small company a year to do or 6 months. We did it in 4 weeks, and then processed all the data and put the drawing together. And it's just because we had the manpower to do it, and we had the technology, and we had the expertise of doing it. So that's like what sets us aside I guess the logistics of it would be a large part of it too, is, moving the people around to always get it done regardless of where it is.
Well, I think it's interesting, like because my husband's an engineer, and like he had he's a structural engineer. Like it's interesting about like the results, like because like they have a very locked down system, but the results, it's like, like they see like classified stuff, and like it's the results that really matter, and how the people interpret the results, so it's an interesting, like, it's very interesting because it's really what that person can do with the results and like who can have access to it. So I think that's an interesting concept.
Well, and for us, a lot of it's creativity, like that's one of our, that goes back to the innovation of, we can go out and gather all this information and we can tell you what utilities are in the ground and where they are. But the skill set we have is we can take, what are you trying to build and what's in your way? And we can come up with either the fastest method of achieving what you want, the cheapest method of achieving what you want, or the equilibrium in the middle of the most efficient. So if you don't care about money and all you care about is time, we can find the fastest way to do it. But if you're trying to squeeze every nickel and dime you can, we can get real creative and save a lot of money too. We can value engineer it. So that's where, it's innovation and equipment, but it's also the mindset of the people. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Sam, so I was thinking about like yours, since you're more in like public service, like how do you find a core competency for public service? So I just Googled it really fast, and like some people were saying like for public service is like demonstrating like integrity and respect, like to the public. Like what do you think about that?
I was going to say, impartiality, like we have to be very impartial, because we're dealing with the judge, the jury, and the attorneys and all that stuff. So I would say that that's one thing, that if you're not impartial, if you can't keep your thoughts to yourself, you really won't get far within our industry. We have to tell our customers all the time, we're not attorneys. We cannot give legal advice. We could just tell you what's going on,
Right.
Another thing that is basically for our jurisdiction in Florida is we're a model. Our method is we're like maybe like innovation, like the model clerk's office, because we use technology a lot more than a lot of other clerk's offices. We don't use a lot. We don't have files. We only have electronic files.
Yeah.
Basically type everything right then, so everything is real time. Right after court, you can go on a computer and find out what happened to a defendant. You can find most of their items online right then and there. So I'll say innovation is another major something major within our courthouse in itself. So
I think that's huge, because like my mom used to work at the county of San Diego, and like they had, everything was like snail mail, and everything like was, like there wasn't a lot of like, it was like they were going down to the basement, and like my mom's like, I'm going to the basement to get files. I'm like, what? Like, I don't get what you're saying, like dust off those files,
It's crazy. 3 years ago, that's how it was. And we don't accept any like paper files. Paper Like if someone filing, if an attorney want to file something, we don't accept it. You must electronically file it. And it's green too. It just really helps with, you know, the fact that the courthouse is but so big. If you have these files, where are you going to put them?
Right.
So.
No, for sure. Do people send like other like public service? Do they send like people to like see how you guys do it?
Yep. So a lot of the other jurisdictions, they come and they look at how we run and how we process things here. It's expensive, and that's probably one of the reasons we haven't had raises, because, you know, they've been spending a lot of money on the technology portion of the the clerk's office, but it works.
Yeah. Interesting. I know, like with the dental offices, like, you know, like they try to set themselves apart with technology. Now, like, I don't know, core competency, like, is it replicable, you know? I mean, some offices invest more in technology, other offices don't, you know? So I think it really does set itself apart, you know, what type of office that person's looking for. You know, I think some people value more of like digital x-rays and everything being paperless, and, you know, versus some people don't care, you know? So I think it really could depend on the customer too, if they value that more.
I'll tell you, my grandma has switched like her dentist office before, like, because they started using iPads and all that stuff. She doesn't want to do with it. And so I mean, yeah, it's just it's kind of like what you want to do. She's like, oh, they got an iPad.
She doesn't want the TV on the ceilings. No, not so much.
My fingers are too big. She has every excuse, you know, so.
That's interesting. Well, you guys, one other slide that I thought was interesting was it asked about, like, and just I kind of want your gut reaction. Like, it says, in your opinion, what's the single most important factor in the world of business that determines performance? They said if you had to pick one thing, what would you pick?
Leadership.
I pick leadership. Service.
So it's interesting. I just picked people. So I think it was like that falls into like I picked the general, right? That's interesting. Andrew, why do you say leadership?
Going through a bunch of businesses and seeing people it doesn't matter how technically proficient you are, someone else can do your job. But if you have no leadership, you're guaranteed to fail. And the reason is you may not fail instantaneously, but I actually, I had a meeting today. I'm part of the American Council of Engineering Companies. It's basically, it's private engineering firms, and it's, you know, we back legislative issues, transportation bills, things like that. And we also look at just things that affect the consultant engineering community. And one of the guys,
like a lobbyist.
We have a lobbyist, but it's not necessarily about that. It's more about training, and it's just anything you can do to make the business better.
Right.
So some of it's leadership training, some of it's business training, some of it's, you know, we have committees that we work with the state, where we actually meet with the state transportation engineers and show them new technology and teach them new things that they've been living under a rock and they don't understand. And then we also have a legislative committee where we meet with local and federal and state government representatives and senators to kind of check the pulse of what they're doing. So sometimes in Colorado, like, they had an issue where a bunch of bridges were falling down. And people were upset about it. And we actually went and talked to Congress and kind of helped them broker a deal and find a way to fund it so we could fix the bridges.
Oh, cool.
So it's just a group of companies. But one of the things we talked about today was most engineers don't know anything about business. They don't learn it in school, and then when you get to engineering, you don't learn anything. Like, you learn how to design something. You don't learn anything about money. And, you know, the biggest thing is, if you have good leadership, you can train engineers to be business people. You can train them to think. You can train them to innovate. You can train them to help. You know, a leader can make everyone around them better. And one of the biggest issues in engineering is, you know, most of the engineering firms are less than 100 people, and a lot of them only have 25 people. And
it's my husband's company. It's like 20, 30 people, maybe at the most.
And what happens whenever those owners retire? Because if they don't have leadership and they don't really understand business, the firm's not going to make it because they can't sell out to their own people because their people don't know how to run a business because they're just engineers, or they're going to sell it to a huge firm. They're going to buy the name, they're going to buy the client list, they're going to buy the backlog, and then they're going to lay off all the people they have, and they're going to do it. They're just going to absorb them. And then the 25 people that work there, now they're out of a job, and it's because no one taught them, no one worked out a succession plan. Like, they don't know how to make money. I mean, you'd be surprised how many engineers don't even know at what point they're making profit, what point they're losing profit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like billable hours and stuff like that, for sure.
Well, and part of it is they don't, and I've always said this too. Engineers think in billable hours, business people think in dollars and cents. And that's what I tell everybody. I don't care how many billable hours you have, how much money are we spending, how much money are we bringing in the door.
Right.
Like you can't just look at it in a billable hours sense, but everyone does because that's all they know. That's what you're taught, like the more you work, the more money you make. Well, it doesn't work that way. So if you have leadership at multiple levels, and that's something we've been fighting in our company because we're so big. And that's what I tell everybody, the book, a lot of these chapters early in the book said the CEO, you have to have great executive leadership or a firm will fail. It's not necessarily true. If you have one great leader at the top and everyone else is a bunch of idiots, the firm's not going to do well. You have to have leadership at all levels, and you have to have servant leadership where you're, they say the only two things there's only two characteristics of a leader. If anything goes wrong, you take the blame. If anything goes right, you give credit to your subordinates. That's it. And what happens is that when you have the leadership, even if you're a lower level person, if you're working with a team in the field, you may have influence over 3 people. And then maybe there's someone in the office that has influence over 2 or 3 of those teams where they have influence over the leadership of the team, where maybe they talk to 10 people. And I mean, even there, we've had cases in our company where, one of the managers wasn't really a good leader, but if the people below them were good leaders, they would see how this one office is outperforming all the rest of them. Why is this one office doing so great? And then they would see the leadership characteristics, and people above you would actually start picking up, they pick up on what you were doing.
Right.
So that's why I say it's leadership. That's true. If you build a culture of communication and you build a culture of taking care of your people and trying to make them better every day, that's what leadership is. And you'll succeed no matter what in that case. I mean, if your clients, you'll find new ones, regardless of what happens, you'll find a way around it. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like in your company, like do the managers all have like an engineering background, or have they ever brought in someone that doesn't have an engineering background? And if so, do you think it's hard to make it congruent, because someone who doesn't understand what the engineers do, it would make it hard for them to do like the business part of it, I would think. But do you feel someone's trainable,
They brought me in and I didn't have an engineering background.
Yeah. I didn't know if you had an engineering background or not.
I do now, but yeah. I was actually a war contractor in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And, I had a construction background, and I was actually an accounting major for 2 years when I was an undergrad before I changed. But I never took the traditional engineering method. I was in the business of making money. I mean, It didn't matter what I was doing. Profit was my idea. But, I was in the College of Engineering at LSU. I studied construction management. I understand how to make buildings fall down and how to make them stand up. And I understand, I have the related background where I can relate to those people. And then I know how to read, and, I know how to do design work now. So I can relate to them, but I didn't go to school to just I want to sit behind a computer and design stuff. Like, that's not what I wanted. So typically, it's funny you say that, because typically the people that have the more oddball stories have ended up being better leaders and better leaders in the company, because we bring there's a greater diversity of knowledge and thought process, where if you have nothing but a bunch of engineers, they all think the same way.
No, it's true.
But when you have a surveyor and a construction person and a business person and someone who is in some sort of a customer service role or a marketing role, like when you throw this mixed bag together of all these people, these different ideas, you can get dangerous real fast. And I mean, that's why my office was so profitable, is because we were just a group of different people who, we didn't care. I mean, we really took the blue ocean approach on everything. I mean, we never really targeted in on this one market. We're going to go after this. We're going to go after everything, and whatever catches traction is what we're going to jump on. And we made money in a lot of non-traditional markets just because we didn't care. We try anything.
Well, I think that's what, I mean, I think what you're talking about, like in the dental office, it's the same, like dentists aren't always the best business people. They're clinical people. That's what they want to do. They want to restore mouths. They want to do root canals. They don't want to deal with so-and-so's paying their unemployment through, or whatever, they don't care, so it's hard. But then a lot of times they put their trust in people who have maybe like an office manager that's not necessarily technical either, with a business background. And I always get the question, well, you're a dental hygienist. Why are you studying business? And it's like, I think it's a pretty good, like I think it's a good skill set. And I truly believe in diversification. So I hear you when you're saying that, because I can see it, how it's related to like my field, which is, I think, again, you have very technical people, but that necessarily aren't always the great business people,
Yeah, they went to dental school, not business school. They can't.
No, it's true.
They can barely balance their own checkbook, but they know how to do root canals on people all day.
Yeah, for sure. But then you think about it, though, dentistry is a business. I mean, as much as you want to put a spin on it, it's for sure a business, and
everything's a business now.
Sam, what do you think, though, like when you deal with like lawyers and stuff and attorneys and all that stuff, like do you have a spin on it, like as far as like, because that's pretty technical, that's technical as well,
I agree with you guys both. I've seen a lot of attorneys that went private and just had to come back and work for the state attorney or public defender office because they just don't know how to run a business.
Yeah.
In marketing, I think that's like another major thing for like criminal and civil, you have to market yourself.
Sure.
If I go on Google, I'm looking for a lawyer, I'm going to look for best criminal lawyer in Palm Beach, and whatever, it's probably not even the best person. It's just whatever Google pulls up. You're probably going to find that person. And if they have reviews, you're probably going to hire him. And I think that's one of the big things with the industry. They're attorneys. They're not businessmen. I did meet an attorney recently. He said he got his bachelor's in business, and he's like, oh, what business am I going to open? And he was like, you know what? I'm going to go law school. And he's been successful. 4 years out. He opened his own practice right out, and he knows how to run a business. And that's why he's successful. Not because he's a great attorney, but that's not the main thing.
Right. No, I agree. I think it's interesting that the thread between the three, because it's like I think we all deal with people that have a lot of technical expertise, but that may not translate to like the business side of it,
Very true.
They're easy to rip off. I mean, honestly, like I've always said, like, an engineer and a surveyor are the easiest people to steal from in the world, because they don't realize you're stealing from them. We're here to help you. Like, hey, go do this for free, or I'm going to sue you. Okay, we'll do it.
Yeah, right.
No, stand up for yourself, fight back.
They don't know.
Yeah, they don't know.
I like the take that you took it, though. I think it's interesting that we all kind of like took the same theme of like people being like that number one.
It is people, though. It is. I mean, I've left my cable company just because I got tired of their customer service, and I'm sure a lot of people have done different things like that. I mean, it's just people.
No, I think that's really good. No, that's perfect. Well, I think those are my 2 slides. I think, I will like expand upon those, like, kind of like how you added about your individual companies and kind of what you said. So I'll kind of add that in. Is there any other slides that you guys wanted to talk about? I mean, I think those were pretty good.
I wanted to ask about one of mine when it talked about what kind of companies should Coke and Pepsi acquire, and should they be trying to diversify? So like Coke could like start a historical memorabilia store in like New York, Los Angeles, Vegas, touristy spots.
Right.
They could acquire local soft drink companies in like foreign countries and then expand and modernize the facilities and sell the local brand and then introduce theirs too. So like if I don't know, whatever, if Africa had if Tanzania had Star Soda, Coke could go in and buy Star Soda, double the size of the facility, modernize it, clean it up, keep selling Star Soda, and then also sell Coke as well. You know what I mean?
I think that's smart. Yeah.
I don't really know what else they would acquire. Like, I don't know. And I started thinking about diversification. Like, what are they going to diversify into? I mean, I know Pepsi bought Frito-Lay, which is now really selling junk food too. But, you're the whole health conscious fight in America. If you're cutting out Pepsi, you're cutting out junk food as well. So, that's why I'm wondering what you guys think.
Coke and Pepsi, we should probably invest in some major, I don't know, like agricultural something, and start a new drink line, like those cold pressed drinks. Those Bolt House makes them. I don't know, like there's other brands, they make cold pressed drinks, and people are lazy, so they buy those and they go on a juice cleanse fast.
It's like the Odwalla and all that stuff, right? Like
exactly.
Odwalla.
Yeah, so maybe they should invest in something like that so that they could keep making that money.
Well, what if they expanded, like with the Frito-Lay, what if they expanded on like those 100-calorie pack stuff, like those things that are more, maybe more health conscious, but maybe within the line, maybe more diversify their snacks so that it includes more health conscious things like popcorn or, more, those things that could be qualified as healthier alternatives, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
What do you think about that, Ann?
I think anything goes. I think it's just a general idea, but I do feel like I don't think they should go into junk food. I think they should go into like healthier options, because that's our industry now. Like everything is health conscious. And
you don't think they should do like Coke or Pepsi, like 24-hour gym or something like that? No, nothing like I'm just kidding.
I mean, one of my thoughts, as crazy as it is like, if I were Coke or Pepsi, I wouldn't try to make anything. I would try to buy like a healthcare company or a hospital or someone who makes dental supplies. Like if I know my drinks are rotting people's teeth, I'll just buy the company that supplies the tools to the dentist to fix them. I mean, that's
business.
You're not
all the time.
That's what I would do. I mean, I wouldn't even try to make money on selling more stuff because the market's already saturated. I would make money, I would try to make money on the back end of it.
Well, that's a good one. I like that one.
Well, that's kind of shady, though. You think about it, like it's like I think it's a slightly shady, but like I don't know, like if they were trying to diversify, that's true diversification. You're making a profit, quote unquote, on something that's a negative an outcome from your products.
Yeah. Well, and I think
so.
I can tell you that the cancer. Most people don't realize this, but like the big pharmacy companies. Forgot who it was years back, but one of the companies who had a large stake in the chemo business for lung cancer was actually caught donating money to Philip Morris and R.J. Reynolds marketing campaigns to sell cigarettes. So it's like, to go back to like economics, like they're complementary goods. You know what I mean? Sure. Like cigarettes and fighting lung cancer go together, and they're.
Well, that's what I was going to say is our governor, he wants the welfare people to be drug tested, and he owns like a whole bunch of drug test companies.
Wow, conflict of interest, huh?
Yeah. Wow. That's where that money will go right from the government to his pocket. And
same thing happened with my wife was in high school in Texas. Forgot who was the governor then, Rick Perry, I think. But he basically, Texas made this big push of like, the HPV virus, and they needed everyone to get the Gardasil shot, and they were like trying to push them in the public high schools or whatever. Yeah. And he had like 40% ownership stake in the business.
Yep.
Wow, dude, that's really shady.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's business and politics right there.
This politics and business.
You know what's interesting? It's a little bit off topic, but like my daughter just got her tonsils out like a couple months ago, and like in San Diego they have like a big children's hospital, right? And so we were there, and when my son, we were there because he's with his diabetes. Long story, anyway. But they have like the Ronald McDonald House, right? Have you guys heard? Have you heard of Ronald McDonald's? So they used to get a steak at the hospital to have because they had the Ronald McDonald House, they were always allowed to have the monopoly on the fast food at the hospital, and so that was the only fast food or any food product that was allowed out of the hospital was this McDonald's, right? And so when we went back for my daughter's tonsils to get out, they had gotten rid of the McDonald's because it was quote unquote, the nurses didn't like it because it's an unhealthy option, and that's what they were like, how do we qualify these people coming to the hospital, right? And they were like, well, go downstairs and grab like a cheeseburger, or whatever. And but it was an interesting like concept, right? Because like they got the rights of it. It was like this twofold, right? They got the rights to do it, but then you think about a hospital situation pushing McDonald's, but in my case I was like, I think in that situation go and have yourself a cheeseburger because it's a stressful situation, but it was an interesting like with the way they petitioned to get it out, so I thought it was interesting.
I mean, it's all like that. I mean, you wouldn't.
That's how it is, yeah. I made political science, so
yeah.
You wouldn't believe the what goes on in the war zones. I mean,
I can't even imagine.
You're three U.S. oil companies now have drilling rights in Iraq.
Yeah.
And we found $1 trillion worth of minerals in Afghanistan, and now we're mining the minerals because their government doesn't have the resources to do it, and we're getting mining concessions as a kickback to do it.
Wow.
So, but we're fighting for freedom and all the other crap, right? I mean, don't get me started. My opinion's changed.
And that's what kind of makes it rough, though, because you always you don't want to think there's like this like underlying cause, but everything comes back to money, and it's like, damn, like, I mean, like I think I mentioned about like the diabetes, like people always say, oh, it's gonna be great, your son's gonna find a cure. I'm like, bull. It's never going to happen, It's because it's a multi-billion-dollar company. As diabetes is, and like that. It makes you feel like everything has this underlying kind of negative undertone, if you will,
Yeah, kind of like how the EpiPens are $600 now.
Yeah,
right?
I think. Yeah,
exactly. The EpiPens, that's crazy.
Well, they were talking about too, like they're talking about raising the price on the vials of insulin, and it's like, I'm like, okay, like, and it's like, honestly, if you think about it, like, what are we going to do? Like, just to talk about, like, if they raise this to like $8,000 a vial, we're going to have to buy it. Like, there is no option, like, I mean.
Insulin is I think insulin is the only purely inelastic good that there is. So you can't, I'm pretty sure that's it, because they can't even say like cancer drugs because there's alternative treatments, but like
it's none. Yeah, there
is none. If you're type 1 diabetic and you have your pancreas secretes no insulin, it, like you said, it doesn't matter what it costs. I mean, you have to pay it or you die.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Someone asked me about it and I'm like, well, what do you want me to say? Like, does it suck? Sure. But like, does it matter? No, it doesn't matter for crap. Like it's, here's my credit card, like I have no option, like, so I don't know. I just think it's interesting, how things, it does have a money undertone. So
everything does. And that's why I'll tell you guys and everybody else, like, don't even waste your time reading the newspaper or watching these debates or any of the crap that goes on that you see on the television, because none of it's real. I mean, it's all just a front for, I've always told everybody, follow the money and you'll find the truth. That's all it boils down to. Is everyone's for sale, everyone's bought. The question is who owns who. And
so sad. That's so sad.
And what's funny is that, I've told people for years, like, you may as well not even bother voting. You're just wasting your gas to go down there. In national elections, local stuff makes a difference because local stuff isn't that corrupt. But once you get to the national level, all the politicians are all owned by the same people. So like special interest groups, they buy both sides. So it doesn't matter who wins. They're still going to get what they want. And that's what I told her. They're all the same. Like, there's no,
it's
they
just
look different. They talk different. They do the same thing.
It's whose face do you want to, it's the face. It's not, that's all it is.
That's it. The puppet master doesn't change. We're just changing the puppet out, right?
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think that's like when people get in office, they want to make all these changes. It's like, listen, you have these pipe dreams. That's nice and everything, but there's no way it's ever going to happen. Like, and it makes you feel pessimistic. You're like, dang,
Well, but I mean, here we are 8 years later, and Guantanamo's open, and we're still fighting. Now we're fighting 3 wars instead of 2. But
it's sad because you want people to have aspirations to make the world better, and it's like it's almost like a futile effort,
And they probably all do at some point, and then they get to a point where they're all in somebody's pocket. And if they do what they really want, they end up like JFK. You know what I mean?
I believe in conspiracy theory. I do.
I mean, it's crazy, but I mean, I guess I'm just too, I don't mean to sound pessimistic, but
it's true though.
I've seen the truth. I've seen things go the wrong way too many times, and now I'm just kind of like, whatever, just see it coming and follow the money,
Oh, I hear you. Hey guys, so before we move on, any other slides you want to talk about? Because I wanted to talk about the last group project real fast so that we can get on the same.
We have 5 minutes. I did want to talk about my slide, but I don't know if we're going to have enough time. It's what are the 3 most important actions Coke and Pepsi should undertake immediately, within 5 years, and within 24 years?
3 months should do immediately. I don't know. I think I'd have to give that one some thought.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys want to just think about it, and maybe we can discuss it via email, because it's going to take more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I think immediately is going to be putting on a campaign to portray themselves as good, kind of like BP did after the oil spill.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's so much.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
I heard on the radio today when I was actually driving to a meeting, the history of Coke and food, enjoying Coke with food.
Mm-hmm.
Like now Coke's not selling Coke anymore. They're trying to like tell people, drink Coke when you eat. You know what I mean?
The experience of it.
Yeah, they need to double down on the branding and really keep their name in the forefront of everything going on, and try to like save face and associate themselves with the healthiest things they can do. I think that's probably the immediate thing. I don't know, 5-year goal.
25 years, that's major,
5 years, I don't know.
Expand.
I think 25. I think 25 years is going to be outside the box diversification. That's a long-term deal there.
Yeah, total diversification.
Because they're tapped out now. I mean, they're not tapped out, but they're pretty close. And
what about the 5-year plan? Like what we talked about, like Andrew, like you mentioned about bringing up taking over international one. I think that would be a good 5-year goal.
That's true. Expand.
That would probably be the 5-year goal, I guess, would be to expand into developing countries. Don't call them third world; they're developing.
Yeah. Right.
And that would also give them a show of goodwill of, hey, we're nation builders. We're not just here to make you fat. We're here to make you, and we're going to help save all these people and make life
water
better.
Supply, right?
Yeah, right.
I think those are good ones, and and diversify.
I'll give it some thought though. I'll try to shoot you an email on it too. So Sam, will you be able to turn this in on the weekend once you send it? All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm available.
Hey guys, so what I was thinking, I started to research a little bit. There's like the last group project, the Canvas one or whatever, and it's like this 1-page plan. And I started to pull up the templates and stuff, and they're kind of like he wants it like how we're doing these bullets and like the bullets and the PowerPoints. So I was thinking of like making the template for us and then just popping our names in. Like I think if we each did 2 sections with bullets, I think that would be good enough because he wants it pretty brief. Are you guys okay with me putting the template together and then shooting it out?
Yeah, good. Let's do it. Let's knock it out.
It doesn't look like it's going to take that long. And basically it just says to go through like the process of basically putting the COLA war together. Like, who are the major players? That's kind of what it's looking at. So I'll try to work on that in the next couple weeks, and then, next week, and just shoot that out. So it gives us like a week lead time just to add in our sections. I think it's, like I said, I think there's like 8 sections or 7 sections total. So it's like 2 or 3 each or something like that.
Okay.
I'm leaving. I have a flight in about 12 hours.
Yeah.
And then I'll be out the rest of the week. Next week I'm going to Utah, but
okay.
I'm not going for like anything crazy. I'll be in a hotel at night so I can work on this stuff. So
okay.
This whole thing about going to Tahoe is what threw me all off. So
we're done with this now, So Sam,
yeah.
We got good stuff, and I'll cut it up and I'll send it out to you guys probably tomorrow.
Cool.
So
Andrew, you're going to be able to get your slides done for this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I can work on them sporadically. It's just gonna be hard for me to get a time to like sit down and talk to anybody. So
no, that's fine. Yeah, as long as we can get I'll shoot for earlier or later in the week to send it to you, Sam, and then hopefully you can get the rest of it together.
There was an attachment in the email. There's a little bit in there, but I need to expound on them.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm just happy we got it done, guys. It's Tuesday. We're good to go.
That's good. Yeah, I'm happy too. It was worth staying late.
We got one more, and then let's get this bang out the other project, and we'll be good to go.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, Andrew, thanks. Have a safe flight, and I'll catch up with you guys next week. Okay.
All right.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye.